Today, we're doing a deep dive into something I think is incredibly practical and, well, surprisingly profound, actually. Common English phrases. The ones that pop up everywhere. You know, those everyday expressions that native speakers just use, like, without a second thought, but which can totally trip you up if you're not intimately familiar with all their little nuances. So our mission today, it's for you, really. It's to give you that inside track on these linguistic shortcuts. We're going to peel back the layers on 5 essential English phrases, make them crystal clear, and show you exactly how to wield them so you feel confident and fluent. Whether you're navigating, say, a high-stakes meeting or just casually chatting with friends or even trying to understand a complicated movie plot, we want you to not just hear English, but truly, feel it.
Exactly. And we're not just stopping at definitions here. We're aiming to connect the dots, helping you understand not just what these phrases mean, but digging into why they matter so much in different situations, different contexts. Our goal is to give you those genuine aha moments. The kind that make knowledge actually stick, those insights that truly empower your communication and, well, transform your understanding from just passive reception to active engagement. It's about moving beyond just memorizing things towards true linguistic intuition.
Mm-hmm. And we've drawn our material for this deep dive from some really compelling excerpts of essential English phrases explained. It's a fantastic resource. It really lays out these common expressions quite well. So our job today is to go beyond just the surface level, to explore the real-world scenarios, the subtle nuances, and yet even the common pitfalls that make these phrases so versatile and, let's be honest, sometimes a little bit perplexing. So today we're going to dissect, get it, pick something up. Can I take a rain check? Take time off, and on top of that, ready. Let's jump right in and start uncovering these linguistic treasures. All right, let's kick things off with our first phrase. Get it.
It sounds almost deceptively simple, doesn't it? Like, did you get the mail? Or I got a new phone. Simple. But in the context of understanding, it's packed with so much more meaning than just mere comprehension. It often implies a moment of real clarity, that internal click where, a light bulb flashes above your head and everything suddenly slots into place. It's about successful internal processing of information, really grasping something.
Not just intellectually, but almost intuitively. It's that transition, right? From confusion to understanding.
That's a crucial distinction you're making. What's truly fascinating about get it, in this sense, is how it implies an active internal realization. It's not just passively receiving data. When you get something, it means you've processed it. You've integrated it into your existing knowledge framework. You've kind of made it your own. And this can range, as you said, from a very basic understanding of a simple instruction, like, did you get the directions to the restaurant? Easy enough. All the way to a complete intuitive comprehension of something really complex, a deep concept maybe. It signifies an active acquisition of information. You're not just hearing words, you're truly integrating them, making sense of them.
Absolutely. Yeah, consider a situation where you're trying to figure out a new gadget, maybe something intricate, or you're wrestling with those notoriously vague instructions for assembling, flat pack furniture. We've all been there. Or maybe you're digging into a dense academic paper full of abstract ideas. Or trying to follow a new complicated recipe. You're not just passively reading, you're actively absorbing information, trying to connect the pieces. In those moments, you might say, I'm still trying to get how this fits together, right? Or you might ask someone else, did you get what the professor was explaining about quantum physics today? Mm-hmm. Here, get it serves as a direct, almost instant check for understanding, like a feedback loop in the conversation. It prevents missteps, ensures everyone's on the same page.
Indeed. And when you ask, did you get it? In those contexts, you're not just asking if the person heard the words. You're asking more. You're asking if the message was successfully decoded, processed, and really understood in their own mind. This is absolutely essential in, say, any learning environment or instructional scenario. It verifies that the communication wasn't just sent out there, but that it was genuinely received and effectively processed, made sense of. For instance, in a team meeting, if a manager asks, so are we all clear on the new plan? Do you get it? They're looking for confirmation of a shared mental model, not just a verbal yes. It's about ensuring alignment. And that's critical for any kind of collaborative success, really.
Exactly. And here's where get it gets even more interesting. And often where, language learners might find themselves a bit tripped up, it's application to humor or sarcasm or those really subtle social cues. Think about that moment when a joke finally clicks, maybe hours later, when you're doing something else entirely, or when someone makes a really dry, sarcastic comment and you didn't quite catch the tone at first, but then bam, it hits you. You get it. For example, you might say later, oh, I just got that joke you told earlier. That was hilarious.
Ooh.
Or maybe recalling a conversation, he made a really subtle reference to that old movie, but I got it. Clever.
This specific usage of get it is remarkably powerful. It really is. Because it goes beyond just linguistic comprehension. It moves into the realm of shared understanding, social attunement. And this raises an important question, doesn't it? How does getting something like a joke or an underlying message signal a deeper connection with the speaker, or even a sense of belonging to a group? It's not just about the words. It's about grasping the shared context, the cultural references, the unspoken stuff, even the nonverbal cues sometimes. When you get a subtle joke, it often means you're on the same wavelength as the speaker. You might share a similar worldview or cultural background, maybe. This is a powerful form of connection. It's almost like a social password, indicating you're an insider, someone who understands the unspoken rules. And while not getting it can sometimes signal you're outside that group or lack that shared knowledge, which can feel a bit isolating, right? It's about understanding the subtext, and that can be incredibly validating in social interactions.
That's a fantastic point. It really shows how get it is more than just a verb. It's like a social barometer. And that's precisely why mastering get it is so crucial. Absolutely crucial for effective communication in everyday life. Not just for practical tasks, but for building rapport, building connections. From quick checks in work meetings so we're all clear, you get it, to casual chats, oh, I totally get what you mean. It allows for those quick checks of understanding, and it prevents miscommunication, which, let's face it, saves an incredible amount of time, frustration, maybe even embarrassment. It's a foundational phrase for clear, confident, and genuinely connected exchanges. It lets you feel fully present, really integrated into conversations.
Right, and maybe a quick note here for learners, a common trap. Sometimes people use it a bit too literally, like, I got the meaning of the joke.
Yeah.
Sounds a little clunky.
Yeah, a bit unnatural.
Exactly. A native speaker would almost always just say, I got the joke. Or simply, I got it. Or sometimes over-explaining, like, I got the concept that you were teaching.
When you could just say,
I got the concept. Much simpler. It's about that conciseness, that natural flow.
good tip. Okay, moving on. Next up, we have pick something up. This one is a real linguistic chameleon, isn't it? It has such a remarkable range of uses, and each one subtly changes its color or meaning depending entirely on the context around it. It's a perfect example of how English phrases can be incredibly efficient packing multiple meanings into one short phrase, but also, deceptively tricky because of that versatility. We've pinpointed 3 core meanings for this phrase that you'll definitely encounter all the time, and misunderstanding one, well, it could lead to some funny or maybe awkward situations.
You're absolutely right. Its versatility is striking. It really is. This phrase beautifully exemplifies what linguists call polysemy. That's just the term for when a single word or phrase has multiple distinct meanings. They're usually related conceptually, but clearly different in how you use them. Think of it like a master of disguise in the language. It changes its role depending on the scenario. It definitely requires careful attention to context to avoid misinterpreting. But once you master its nuances, pick up becomes an incredibly powerful and efficient tool in your linguistic toolkit. It simplifies actions, observations, makes things quicker.
Right. Let's dive into the first meaning then. To learn or acquire informally. This is when you gain a skill or knowledge or even a habit, but not through, say, formal instruction, not through a structured lesson. It's often just through simple observation or immersion or casual exposure. Think about how young kids intuitively pick up a language just by being surrounded by it. They soak it in like little sponges. Or consider how you might pick up a new hobby like knitting or maybe coding just by watching friends or following online tutorials, maybe just messing around on your own. You're not sitting in a classroom taking notes, you're just absorbing it organically. For example, you could say, she picked up Spanish remarkably quickly after moving to Mexico. Just by listening and practicing with locals. Or, I picked up some great cooking tips from watching that chef on TV last night. You know, that kind of thing. It's spontaneous.
This usage of pickup is truly profound, actually, if we connect it to the bigger picture of how humans learn. It highlights the immense power of informal learning and immersion, things we often do without conscious effort. It emphasizes practical acquisition over just theoretical study, which is, in many ways, how real-world functional skills are primarily gained, how we actually learn to do things. It speaks directly to our innate human capacity for observational learning, adaptation, even subconscious absorption of complex rules like grammar, without ever explicitly studying them. This is how many of us gain proficiency in practical skills. Whether it's navigating a new city, or understanding tricky social cues, or even mastering complex games, it's about building that implicit knowledge, the stuff that often feels more like intuition than formal education.
Hmm. And understanding this particular usage helps you recognize not only how skills are often gained organically by others, but also how you might describe your own self-taught abilities, right? So instead of saying something maybe a bit cumbersome, like, I learned to play guitar by watching many YouTube videos without a teacher, you can just say, much more naturally, I picked up guitar by watching YouTube videos. It's very common, very natural, and efficient. It conveys that sense of ease of natural acquisition. Okay, now, the second meaning. This is probably the most straightforward one. The most common everyday use, right? This is when you need to grab something from a store or collect an item from a specific place. It's very direct, very transactional, very practical. For example, your partner might ask, could you pick up some milk on your way home? We're completely out. Or you might tell a friend, I need to pick up my dry cleaning before the store closes. Otherwise, I won't have my suit for the meeting tomorrow. It's about the logistics of daily life, just getting things done.
This meaning is indeed highly transactional and direct. You nailed it there. It's a stellar example of how phrasal verbs in English really serve to simplify actions. Actions that might otherwise require more formal or, frankly, longer descriptions. I mean, consider the alternative. Would you be able to purchase some milk during your journey back to our residence?
Nobody talks like that.
Exactly. You just say efficiently, pick up some milk.
Yeah.
This efficiency is paramount in everyday requests and commands. It makes communication quicker, less clunky, more natural in routine situations. It highlights that pragmatic aspect of language where brevity and clarity for common actions are really valued.
Okay, on to the third meaning. This is where pickup gets really subtle, almost detective-like, as I said. It's about sensing something unspoken. To detect, perceive, or become aware of something that isn't immediately obvious, often through incredibly subtle cues, maybe a gut feeling or reading between the lines. You're not just listening to the words, you're picking up on vibes, underlying currents. You might say, I picked up on a strange tension in the room as soon as I walked in. Even though no one was saying anything, you could just feel it. Or he picked up on her sarcasm immediately, even though she delivered it with a perfectly straight face. It's about that perception.
What's truly fascinating here is how pickup, in this context, refers to an intuitive grasp, almost a sixth sense, like you said, a sense for social dynamics or emotional states. It's about reading between the lines, interpreting those nonverbal cues, a sigh, a quick glance, a shift in posture, and understanding the emotional or social atmosphere of a situation. This is such a crucial skill for developing social intelligence, for navigating complex situations, whether you're in, deeply personal relationships or high-stakes professional environments. It speaks to our ability to perceive beyond the explicit, to infer and deduce from subtle signals, which is absolutely vital for deep, nuanced communication and building real empathy. It's the difference between just hearing words and understanding the human behind them. That's a great way to put it, yeah. And recognizing these multiple meanings of pick something up is paramount. It really is. It helps you avoid miscommunication. Imagine like your boss asks you to pick up on a client's unspoken concerns, and you literally think they want you to physically lift a file folder. Bit awkward.
Right. Or the opposite.
Or missing a subtle hint because you only understood the learn informally meaning. It adds immense depth to your comprehension of everyday conversations and helps you navigate complex social cues much more effectively. It's about having that linguistic agility, right? Preventing those awkward misinterpretations and making you a far more perceptive communicator overall.
And again, maybe a quick learner trap note.
Yeah, good idea.
The biggest trap is just using the wrong meaning in the wrong context.
Yeah.
For example, saying, I picked up the new language from a book instead of learned is. Okay, but less common for formal study. More critically, mixing up the purchase meaning with learn informally. You would say, I picked up a milk on my way home if you meant you bought it.
Right, the preposition changes things.
Exactly. That preposition on picked up on something is usually a strong indicator of the notice subtle cues meaning.
Yeah.
So yeah, pay attention to the prepositions and the objects of the verb. Context is king here.
Context is king. Good advice. Okay, our third phrase. Can I take a rain check? This one, I think, is just a masterpiece of polite deferral. It really is. It might sound a bit quirky, maybe even old-fashioned if you're not familiar with where it comes from or how it's used, but it is an incredibly graceful and effective tool for navigating social situations. At its heart, it's a polite way to decline an offer or invitation right now at the present time, but with the implicit understanding, the suggestion, that you would genuinely like to accept it later, at a more convenient time. It's not a flat no. It's a definite not now, but hopefully later.
It's a beautiful embodiment of social grace, as you say, and also linguistic economy. It packs a lot in. It allows for that polite refusal without completely closing the door on a future interaction. That's key. It preserves the relationship. It expresses continued interest in the person and the activity. And it shows respect for the person who extended the invitation in the first place. The implicit message is that the reason for declining is external, like, prior commitment or being busy or maybe feeling unwell. It's not a lack of desire to hang out with the inviter. And that nuance is absolutely vital for maintaining social harmony and building strong connections. It stops the other person feeling rejected or thinking their invitation wasn't valued.
We've all been there, right? When a friend invites you out for dinner or to a concert or maybe a weekend hike, and you genuinely appreciate the thought. You really want to go. But for whatever reason, your schedule is packed, you're just wiped out. Or you have another commitment, you just can't make it work right now. So instead of just saying a blunt, I can't, which can sound a bit abrupt, maybe even dismissive, you use this elegant phrase. So you might say something like, oh, I'd absolutely love to go to the concert, but I'm completely swamped with work this week. Can I take a rain check on that maybe next month? Or responding to an invite. Thanks so much for the dinner invitation. That sounds fantastic, but I have a prior commitment that evening. Maybe I can take a rain check next time. It keeps that door wide open for future connection.
It truly acts as a verbal bridge, doesn't it? It communicates both genuine regret for missing the current opportunity and a clear eagerness for a future one. This is especially important in, say, professional networking contexts or when you're building new friendships, where you want to show engagement and value the relationship even when immediate participation just isn't feasible. It skillfully prevents the other person from feeling personally rejected or that their thoughtful invitation was somehow undervalued. It's about demonstrating consideration and commitment beyond just the immediate moment.
And here's another vital application. It's not just for new invitations. You can also use "can I take a rain check" to politely suggest postponing something already on the books, something already planned. Let's say you have a coffee meeting set up with a colleague, right? But you wake up feeling under the weather, or maybe an unexpected urgent task lands on your desk. Instead of just canceling outright, which can feel quite harsh, maybe inconsiderate, you can soften the blow with this phrase. You might say, oh, I'm really not feeling well today, so I don't think I can make our coffee meeting. Would it be okay if we took a rain check for next week instead? It immediately communicates that you still value the meeting and the person, just not the current timing.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, taking a rain check strongly implies a commitment to the interaction.
Yeah.
Even if the timing is temporarily off, it signals reliability and profound respect for the other person's time and effort in planning. You're not just canceling, you're acknowledging the importance of the planned event, and you're proactively offering a clear, polite path to rescheduling. This builds trust, it demonstrates consideration, and it's fundamental to fostering healthy relationships, personal or professional. It's a powerful tool for social diplomacy.
So, understanding and mastering this seemingly quaint phrase really enhances your ability to manage your schedule and your social commitments politely and effectively. It allows you to navigate potentially awkward situations with grace, avoiding appearing dismissive, preserving your relationships. It's a key tool for social diplomacy, ensuring you maintain goodwill and keep doors open even when you have to say, not right now. It truly is an elegant solution to a very common social dilemma. It lets you prioritize your needs without, sacrificing your connections.
And perhaps one quick learner trap here.
Go for it.
Sometimes learners misuse it by not actually implying a genuine desire to reschedule, using it as just a softer no. But the phrase inherently suggests you do want to do it later.
Right, the intention matters.
Exactly. If you genuinely have no intention of rescheduling, it's probably better to just decline clearly and politely without offering a rain check.
Oh, also don't use it for things that aren't invitations or plans. Like you wouldn't say, can I take a rain check on doing my homework?
No, it doesn't work.
It really only applies to social or professional engagements with another person. Makes sense. Okay, on to phrase number 4, take time off. All right. All right. Who among us doesn't absolutely love to take time off? Seriously. This phrase resonates universally because it's all about those essential breaks we need. Breaks from our routines, our jobs, our daily duties, the need for rest, for rejuvenation, for stepping away. It's a fundamental human requirement. And the way we express it in English, take time off, is both interesting and incredibly precise. At its core, it means to stop working or performing your usual duties for a period, typically for rest or leisure or important personal reasons.
Indeed. And what's truly fascinating here is how take time off specifically refers to a sanctioned absence, an approved absence from obligations, particularly in a professional context. It almost always implies there's permission involved, or at least an agreed-upon break. It's official, in a way. This is essential not only for the individual's well-being, of course, but also for long-term productivity and sustainable output within organizations. It's a societal recognition, really. The humans aren't machines. We fundamentally require periods of disengagement for mental and physical rejuvenation. And this concept is built into many employment structures through vacation days, sick leave, etc.
Right, and this first scenario is probably the big one for most people. Planned holidays, extended vacations, or important life events that mean you need a significant period away from your job or regular duties. These are deliberate, usually pre-arranged periods of leave. For example, you might tell a colleague, "I'm planning to take 2 weeks off in December for a trip. I've been looking forward to that all year, hoping for some real downtime," or maybe describing a family situation. She had to take a few days off to care for her sick child.
Yeah.
These are generally formal requests for absence from work or duties.
These longer periods of time off are absolutely crucial for preventing burnout and for fostering a healthier, more sustainable work-life balance. They are often enshrined as part of employment benefits, as we mentioned, signaling an employer's understanding of the vital importance of employee rest and recovery. It's about stepping away fully from the demands of work, to recharge your cognitive batteries, to dedicate quality time to personal pursuits, family, travel, or just quiet decompression. Without these extended breaks, both mental and physical fatigue just accumulate, leading to decreased creativity, lower productivity, increased stress. It's not just a perk, it's a necessity for long-term well-being and performance.
But it's not always about a big pre-planned vacation, is it? Sometimes take time off refers to much shorter breaks, maybe even unplanned ones during the day or week. You might be deep into a mentally demanding task, like writing a complex report or trying to fix some tricky code, and you just hit a wall. You need a mental pause, a brief break. You might find yourself saying, "Ugh, I really need to take some time off from this report. My eyes are starting to blur. I literally can't focus anymore." Or maybe if you're working from home and feeling stuck, you might suggest to a housemate, "Hey, let's take some time off this afternoon and go for a walk. Fresh air might help clear our heads."
And this raises an important question. How does taking time off in these smaller increments actually contribute to mental refresh and sustained focus? It highlights the critical role of micro breaks, those brief moments of disengagement. They are crucial for preventing burnout and maintaining creativity throughout the day. These short pauses allow the brain to kind of reset, maybe process information in the background, and then return to tasks with renewed energy and perspective. They're a form of active recovery, not just passive idleness.
Like a mental palate cleanser.
Exactly, a mental palate cleanser, which optimizes overall productivity through strategic disengagement rather than just continuous grinding. This is often where people intuitively take a quick social media break or grab a coffee without necessarily framing it as taking time off, but that's essentially what they're doing, a mini break from the task.
That's a great point about the micro breaks.
Yeah.
It makes taking time off far more accessible and relevant to daily life, not just those big vacations. So understanding and effectively using take time off is absolutely crucial for managing your work-life balance, for clearly requesting leave from your employer, and just for communicating your fundamental need for rest and personal time. Whether you're in a professional setting talking to your boss or just with friends planning your weekend, it ensures clarity when discussing personal time away from obligations, and it's a vital expression for advocating for your own well-being.
And a common error to watch out for.
Yes.
Omitting the off, saying, "I need to take some time," is too vague. It could just mean, "I need some time to think about this."
Right. Doesn't necessarily mean absence.
Exactly. Adding off is critical for the meaning of absence from work or duties.
Mm-hmm.
Also, sometimes learners confuse it with take a break. Well, they're similar. Take time off usually implies a more substantial or official period of absence, even if it's just an hour off a specific task, whereas take a break is usually a very short pause, like 5 minutes for coffee.
Good distinction. Okay, final phrase for today. On top of that. This phrase is an absolute powerhouse. A powerhouse for building arguments, describing cumulative situations, or adding significant layers to a story. It's far more than just saying, "and also." It carries a powerful sense of accumulation and emphasis. It's like saying, "and also get this significant thing." It's used to add another piece of information or argument, often emphasizing that it's additional, consequential, or perhaps even overwhelming. It genuinely builds emphasis, creates a sense of layering, good or bad.
You've absolutely hit on its core strength there. What's truly fascinating here is how, on top of that, acts as a rhetorical intensifier, meaning it's a linguistic tool that amps up the impact of the information that follows it. It signals to the listener that the next piece of information isn't just a simple addition, but often it's an exacerbating factor in a negative situation or a significant bonus in a positive one. It actively guides the listener's emotional or logical response. It signals that the situation is becoming more complex, more challenging, or maybe more beneficial. It moves beyond just listing things. It highlights accumulation and its effects.
Yeah, think of it like stacking blocks, right? Building a tower of information or circumstances. You've presented one point, then you add another and another. And on top of that signals the introduction of the next, often a really significant layer, adding considerable weight or importance to the overall picture. For instance, imagine describing a difficult project. The project was already behind schedule due to some unexpected software issues. And on top of that, we suddenly lost 2 key team members to another department, just like that. That really compounded our problems. Or, on a much happier note, the food at the restaurant was absolutely delicious, really beautifully presented, and on top of that, the service was exceptionally friendly and attentive. It made the whole evening perfect.
This phrase is incredibly effective in narrative building. In telling a story, it allows you to paint a vivid picture of mounting circumstances, whether they're fortunate or unfortunate. It creates a palpable sense of progression. It signals that the situation is developing, intensifying somehow. It tells the story of how previous points, while significant on their own, are now being compounded by something else that requires attention or dramatically adds to the overall impact. It helps the listener to really internalize the totality of a situation. It makes the narrative more compelling, more impactful. It's about building a coherent and emotionally resonant picture through sequential additions.
Yeah, this phrase is particularly effective for painting that vivid picture of how things accumulate, good or bad, building dramatic tension or, a sense of mounting good fortune. It's a fantastic tool for storytelling. Adding that rising or falling action to your narrative. For example, describing a truly awful day. First, my alarm didn't go off. Then my car broke down in rush hour traffic. Ooh. Then it started pouring rain as I walked to the bus stop, and on top of that, I realized I'd left my wallet at home. See how each point adds to the misery, emphasized by on top of that. Conversely, for a great run of luck, I got a promotion at work, received a substantial raise, and on top of that, I won the company's annual innovation award, all in 1 week.
And this usage brings up another important question. How does the phrasing on top of that help convey that sense of cumulative impact, or even overwhelm, positive or negative? It implies a layering effect, as you said, where each new element adds significant weight or another dimension to the situation. Pushing it beyond just a simple sum of its parts, it helps the listener grasp the full totality of a situation. Whether it's a series of unfortunate events leading to a crisis or a cascade of positive outcomes leading to great success, it provides a more comprehensive, emotionally resonant understanding of cause and effect in a complex scenario, enabling the speaker to build a really compelling argument or narrative.
Precisely. So using on top of that effectively lets you structure your arguments with greater precision, describe complex situations with more clarity, and add significant emphasis to your points, ultimately making your communication far more persuasive and impactful. It enables you to paint a fuller, richer picture for your listener, guiding their understanding of the cumulative nature of events or reasons, ensuring your message really lands with the weight and nuance you intend.
And maybe one final learner trap for this one.
Please.
Learners sometimes overuse it, or they use it as just a simple replacement for and. But it implies a significant additional point, not just the next casual item on a list.
Right. It has more weight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If the added point isn't particularly important or surprising, maybe just and, also, or perhaps what's more would be more appropriate. On top of that is best reserved for when the added element truly builds on or exacerbates what came before it. Also, maybe ensure the previous point is relatively complete before you drop the on top of that. It helps the flow.
Excellent point. Okay, so there you have it. We've just taken a deep dive into 5 seemingly simple everyday phrases. Get it, pick something up, can I take a rain check, take time off, and on top of that. But as you've heard, each one unlocks a surprising amount of nuance, strategic application, and crucial social context. Far, far beyond just a simple dictionary definition. They are truly the hidden gears, aren't they? The things that make everyday English run smoothly and efficiently.
Absolutely. And knowledge is most valuable when it's not just understood in theory, but truly applied, integrated into your actual communication. What's crucial here, I think, is recognizing that mastering these seemingly small phrases gives you immense power in everyday English. It allows you to express yourself more precisely, convey subtle intentions, and navigate complex social situations with far greater ease and confidence. It's not merely about what you say, but fundamentally about how you say it. And these phrases are absolutely key to achieving that essential subtlety and effectiveness. They allow you to really participate in the natural rhythm and flow of genuine conversation, making you sound like an authentic voice.